Welcome back to another episode of The Other Side of the Read Pile. Today I'm going to be looking at UZUMAKI Volume 2 by Junji Ito. This is the second volume out of 3 of the manga series that is kind of horror based and also an anime now on Adult Swim Cartoon Network. It's not very good. I've seen a few episodes of it and it just, the first episode is kind of okay. And after that, it just kind of goes downhill from there. I haven't seen the last one yet, which looks like it ties into some stuff that happens in the third volume, which I haven't read yet. But suffice it to say, the stuff I've seen from the first 2 volumes in the show just, I don't know. It didn't really do it for me. But this book is pretty cool. Again, it follows Kirie, who's here on the cover. She's got short hair now after the exploits of the previous volume with her hair going crazy and dragging her about the town. So they had to cut it off, and so now she has short hair. And she's still hanging out in her coastal town, which is spiral obsessed. And this one gets, I don't know, I'm not going to be able to talk too much about this one without giving a lot of it away. But let's just say this one just gets kind of off the rails weird. I thought the last one got weird towards the end. This one just gets kind of nutty. So this is another 6 chapters. This is chapters 7 through 12 for UZUMAKI. And these chapters are called Jack in the Box, The Snail, The Black Lighthouse, Mosquitoes, The Umbilical Cord, and The Storm. Now, some of these things you can probably already tell how they're spiral based. Some of them are kind of a stretch, in my opinion. The Mosquitoes one's kind of weird. The Umbilical Cord one is very strange. There's just some of these that are just, again, just random things, like he pulled a situation out of a hat and said, here, how can I draw this related to this crazy town? And then just did it. So let's take a look at some of this stuff in here. So again, it starts off with these colorful first few pages, and there's, Jack in the Box, the first thing, just looks innocent enough, little toy. And so basically there's this guy who is obsessed with Kirie, the main character. There she is down there. And, chasing her around and stuff. And he likes to always jump out and scare her a lot. So I don't know why she's hanging out at the graveyard there. And he's just jumping out, and he's kind of like obsessed with her, but he also loves her. But his way of showing that he loves her is to always like just jump out and be scaring her and stuff. And he does this one day and runs right out in traffic and gets just horribly mangled by a car. It's horrific. So as you can see, sometimes the art in this is just downright unsettling and crazy. And for the first time ever, this guy gets buried. They don't cremate him. I guess they finally figured out that when you cremate people, they haunt the whole town forever in every way possible. So let's just bury them from now on. Well, that turns out to be a mistake, as you probably guessed it. She gets this gift from him from beyond the grave, basically. It arrives after he's dead and everything. And it's a Jack in the Box, of course. Scares the crap out of her. I mean, what a great thing to get. I mean, this guy, like, what kind of friend is this? This guy is worse than Ducky in that one John Hughes movie. And look at this thing. It's just, she starts having nightmares about it. It's just getting crazy. It's just looking nutty. Like, I would not keep that in my house. That's disgusting. They go out to the graveyard for some reason to dig this guy up because, that's what you do when this crazy dude's sent you stuff and he's dead. You go dig him up. I mean, you want nothing to do with him. Just go dig him up. And, of course, he's going to come popping up out of there. Like, are you kidding me? I mean, so you got stuff like this happening, and, it's just like, holy God. So, I mean, it's just kind of a whole nother book full of stuff like this, and each story gets kind of more out there, I guess I could say, than the last one. Some of these even have sort of like, I guess if some of them are Tales from the Crypt, then some of these are starting to get a little more like Tales from the Dark Side, the TV show, possibly even leaning into like Friday the 13th, the TV show territory. And that's not a good place to be, if you know what I'm saying. So, I mean, some of these stories just downright are creepy for the sake of being creepy, but they don't really make any sense. I mean, there's mosquitoes that attack people, and then those people, if they're pregnant women, need to drink blood, so they start taking drills that they suddenly all have and manually hand drilling holes in other people in this hospital and just drinking all their blood. Like, what is going on here? The story umbilical cord, I'm not even going to get into how crazy that one is, but it just makes no sense, and it's the first time I've ever seen a placenta that looks like a turtle shell. That's all I'm going to say there. So, I mean, the snail, you guys probably seen some of that stuff on the cartoon already. I did see this part in the anime, and it did kind of skip over a lot of parts of this story. It just sort of happens. The show is strange. It kind of like jumps around different parts of these stories and shows them out of order and out of context to one another at different times. And there's just this guy who's kind of slow, and just one day he turns into a snail and starts crawling all over the school. And that's just the story. He just turns into a snail, crawls all over the school, and they're like, well, we can't have him crawl on the school because he leaves a slime trail, and we can't have that. Let's get his parents. His parents come, and they're like, well, that's not our kid, that's a snail. And they're like, no, that's your kid, we saw it. And they're like, well, we don't want him, you have him. And they just leave. They just leave. So they push him off the side of the school with a broom and build a little cage out back and just keep him in this cage. Just keep him there. And then, like, this bully who was bullying him, suddenly this guy turns into a snail. Blah! Like, what's happening in this town? What is happening in this town? So people just turn into snails, and that's just going on. There's this crazy lighthouse that's doing nutty stuff. Like, I mean, what's going on here? You got things like that. Like, oh. So, I mean, I got these books because I really enjoy the art. This guy's art has always blown me away, and it amazes me how fast he can churn it out. I just wish that some of the stories, I guess, caught me more. I don't know how to really explain it. They look awesome, and they have great illustrations, and those keep me hooked, but just the stories themselves just seem oftentimes very weak. And again, I'm wondering if there's just something I'm missing as far as like cultural importance to some of these things. Maybe it just, I don't know, there's just something that's not quite clicking as far as some of the stories. And like I said, some of them just seem to be downright goofy at this point. But I'm going to keep going. I'm going to finish the third one, and I'm going to obviously check out some of his other books, some of his other stories, because they're not all about this spiral obsessed town. Some of them have completely different plots and are about things that are completely different. So I'm interested to see where those go. I'm interested to see how this one ends. I don't really know how it can get crazier than this, but judging by the way this one went, it's almost like we're running out of spiral ideas, things that are spiral shaped. So I don't know. I guess I'm glad that the next one's the last one, and I can start reading some other things, honestly. Either way, I enjoy the art. I enjoy the creepy nature of the stories. I like any scary stories, so anything creepy, horror related, I'll give it a shot regardless. Let me know what you guys think. If you've read this, let me know what you guys think of the show, if you've seen that. I would love to hear your comments on all that kind of stuff. Yeah, let me know if there's any other books you want me to take a look at. In the meantime, I've got a whole stack here. I know Toast still has a whole stack there. We're going to keep going back and forth until we get through both of our respective read piles, if that ever happens. But I think the goal is to never fully get through, because there's always something new to read. That said, I will see you guys next time with Volume 3. We'll see where we go from there. Thanks for watching.